Big Things Coming is proudly brought to you by Dazzle Home Loans. Darren's 15 years experience in finance will remove the worry when buying your new home. What is up, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another exciting episode of Big Things Coming.
Yeah.
Mel and Geordie, how are you, my friends?
Yeah, good, man.
Excellent. Moving.
How are you?
I'm good.
You
good.
You good?
Having a brekkie beer.
Nice.
Yep.
Well, it's, Awesome.
Lunchtime.
yes.
Yeah.
Suitable.
Excellent,
How
excellent.
are you, Geordie?
I'm doing my thing, moving along, grooving and living life.
I love
How
that.
about yourself?
Murdering. Yeah.
Excellent. And today,
I thought she was doing the robot then. Like,
anyway, today we have
Tell us.
the stokes of the fiery foundry have been lit. It's time for the one and only Stephen Helhammer.
what's going on, brother? Thank you for joining us, mate.
You're very welcome.
Yeah.
I drove a long way to get here. So.
Yes,
appreciated.
I'm so sorry. I thought I'd text you the address.
No, it's not so much that. I drove from Franklin River this morning to get here. So yeah, but it's
Oh,
good.
that's right. You had to get down there.
Yeah.
Whereabouts is that?
Down.
Oh, you
down
don't
yonder.
want to know. It's like I don't know.
Past Rocco?
It's the same time zone, but it's very far away.
You got to cross the horizon a few times.
Yeah, I brought my passport just in case. So, yeah, it's like 4 hours from here, something.
We should
So,
clarify.
Yeah.
You are the other member of the one and only Ashes of Autumn. Yeah. With Miss Mel on the left.
I know. It's so nice to
That's
have
Mel.
you.
That's Mel.
That's
yeah.
Stef.
Yeah.
That's Stef.
That's
So
Stef.
that's Mel, that's Steph.
I think so.
Yeah.
No,
So-
it's just
something
nice.
like that.
It's
Yeah.
nice to get, somebody else other than me talking about the band. Because I'm like running out of things to say about it. Yeah.
Because I know you guys have been working your asses off in the studio because you've got this album cooking in the oven at the moment. Am I right?
It's been cooking for a while, yeah.
yeah.
Percolating nicely.
You know, like,
It's rising at the moment. It's
Yes.
the dough is done, but
Yeah,
it's currently rising. We're just waiting for the oven to reach the perfect temperature, and then we're going to
Take
put it
it
in.
out.
Yeah, well, it needs to go in first, which it's in. Yeah, it's already in the oven.
there's a lot of hungry folks like myself and Geordie included, like that
That's
are
two though. But
are starving to hear some new Ashes of Autumn.
That's nice.
Like I've heard you on drums. You're an amazing drummer, like, and I'm not just saying that. Like
As have I.
you actually are.
I am just saying that. No.
I hear from next door. I can hear you playing all the time, and I'm like, oh yeah.
oh yeah, that's right. You
Yeah.
guys are next
We're
door. Yeah,
neighbours.
that's
Right.
right. That's right.
Yeah.
Foxhole, shout out.
Foxhole.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
it's
what's
gotta
been
call the
happening?
other
Please
thing.
give us a little bit of background of who you are and where you got started and how you've come to this journey of where you are today.
Well, this is about half an hour episode, right?
Yeah.
So yeah,
Give and
okay.
take.
Condense it.
What like so? Well, I was born back in Denmark. No, so
Boring.
yeah. So do we want just the Ashes version?
No, like tell the folk
I
about your
know-
like
I
when
know
you were
how it
in
came
Denmark
about.
and the band that you had
Yeah.
back then and the festivals you played and that's I mean it's
Okay.
great.
That's a long story though.
Well, just,
Right.
and then we can get to Ashes because that's kind of like starting point. to
Yeah.
now.
All right. I'll try and do a condensed short version. So yeah. So my first real band. Well, my first professional band. Yeah, we started back in late 1990 or about 1997, I think it was.
Oh, one of the best decades for music.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh, in my personal
Oh,
opinion.
for the grunge stuff.
Of grunge,
Oh, yeah,
yeah,
man. That's
man,
my jam. That's
yeah,
what I grew
yeah,
up into.
yeah.
Yeah. So obviously
Yeah.
that's most of my playing is based on
100%,
stuff from
yeah.
that era. I started playing in the early 90s, by the way. So, but that's a different story.
Okay.
But yeah, I think we started in the year 1997 and 1998. Played for, again, I was all in. This is like music is my thing. I had to do that. It's a little bit different to being in Perth because obviously in Europe. But so we went full in, all in for a couple of years, and ended up in 2003 we got signed to EMI.
Oh, wow.
And released an album the following year and toured that for a bit. And in 2005, we recorded what was going to be a follow-up that we were going to sort of shop around, but then we broke up in 2006, and I took a couple of years off because it was a bit devastating.
Yeah.
And moved here in 2010, or got here in 2010, and wow, I really got to try and fast-track this because this can last the whole night.
So quickly, what was the name of the band?
The band was called Stomped, Stomped. Yeah,
Stomped.
Stomped.
Was that the band? Like, you sent me a video of you playing in Europe, and it was in front of fucking thousands.
Yeah,
It was a concert, right? Like,
that was the good old days before social media.
Yeah,
so VHS quality and all that jazz. So
but that's why I loved it so much,
It was
because
good,
it
eh?
was real.
Rustic,
It was like kind of really gritty.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
it's very, very gritty. But
the shit that you'd see on MTV, man.
Yeah.
You know, like, and when you sent it to me, I was like, wait, this is you? He's like, yeah. I was like, holy shit, man.
the album was released 20 years ago this year, so 2000. It was actually released on 040404.
Oh,
so
wow.
the 4th of April.
Yeah.
Always
Yep.
been on the Skins?
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Cool. So 2010 area, you got back into it?
Well, sort of. Like
Came out here,
that's when I came back to, or that's when I sort of tried to move into Australia. I met my now wife in early 2010, and when we moved back in 2012, that's when I thought, all right, cool, I'm gonna try and hook up with some local musicians, and started playing the cover scene. Actually, with the same guy I just played the gig with last night, Friendly River. There you go, coincidence.
Yeah.
And actually, I was joined up with 46 Brigade. I don't know if you've had a chat to those guys. Yeah, so played with them for a little bit and recorded the drums on the first album that they released.
Yeah.
And
That was a good album.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's great. I personally, I reckon the new stuff is way better. But they've evolved greatly. Craig is an incredible songwriter.
Yeah.
But again, I think my main baggage from back then was the fact is that you're working with people that control your fate. Yeah. Without you, because again, you're only as fast as, or move as fast as the weakest link when you're in a band, because there's so many personalities.
Yes.
So many links in the chain.
Yeah, that's it. And unfortunately, that chain only moves as fast as the weakest one, or the slowest one.
Yeah.
So I was sort of a bit tainted from that. I was like, shit, there's no way I'm going back to work with some. We're allowed to swear, right?
You can.
Absolutely,
yeah,
man.
but so you don't want to work with any fucking dickheads, right?
Yeah.
Right.
So really, I was just like, I'm gonna just do my solo stuff.
Yeah.
So that's pretty much what I started doing around 2010. So I'm happy to play covers. That's completely different because that's really you just
Covers pays the
being a
bills.
prostitute, right?
Yeah. Pimping yourself out.
Yeah. But it is so. You're literally selling your talent
That's
for money.
A perfect analogy, really.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
So.
No, I totally agree with you, man. Like, and I think we've had this discussion several times. Like, fucking covers, yeah, but it pays the bills.
And also
That's
like
it.
keeps your chops up a wee bit as well. You know what I'm saying?
That's the main reason why I actually like playing in the cover scene, is because if I didn't do that, I would probably not play because I'm too busy in my professional life, if you like, right? So so for me, it's a great way to still shake the dust off every now and then. Or it's actually a lot more than it's been for ages, because I play more than I've ever played at the moment.
That's really good.
So
man.
it's awesome.
You're going solo for a while after that period.
Yep.
And then how do we get to the Ash?
Most of the stuff of where I am sort of fit into the Perth mold really comes from Perth United, which is where I met Johnny, and I think the leading up to that is when I met Mel. I started a podcast during COVID.
Yeah.
And recorded, I think, close to 100 episodes in the space of a year and a half or something like that. And
I was on one.
Yeah.
So hopefully we'll try and track it down and jump on and have a listen to his podcast.
Yeah, well, that's it, because he had so many incredible artists, not just local as well, but international.
Yeah.
And I think I was on one, and then I think
Yep.
one of the other members from previous time was on there. We did two with you.
that's right. Yeah,
Yeah.
I had the singer from Stomped was on. He was one of the first.
really?
One. Yeah, because obviously I had to reach out to people. Sort of same as you guys. You want to make sure you line all the guests up, right?
So you're still bros?
Yeah, that guy. Yeah. So
Yeah,
me and
only-
that guy.
only
I mean,
that.
look, it's 20 years ago. We've all moved on. We're all mates again, right?
Yeah.
But it's It's actually a funny story how we sort of ended up splitting up because we got offered a really red hot support gig for a band called Clawfinger.
Okay.
It's like big Swedish rap metal band, right? And half the band wanted to do it, and the other half band didn't.
You wanted to do it though.
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah, because the reason why I really got put out because I was the one who'd been talking to the tour manager for like months and months and just hassling him.
Building it
You've done all this hard work buttering it up for someone else to say no, I don't want to do it.
Yeah,
that's fucked.
Yeah, and again, we at that point in time we were recording on our we were doing pre demos for our third album. And there was we should just keep tracking along and getting that album done. I was like, fuck, we can do that later. We can, like go out and play these gigs. It was like, I think it was 18 gigs in 3 weeks. So literally 6 gigs a week, right? And it was like all over Western Europe.
Yeah.
And I had to literally message him back like a week later saying, we just broke up because of this. So, yeah.
Terrible.
Yeah, that hurt a little bit.
Sorry.
Yeah, hurt a little
That's
bit.
brutal.
No, but I mean, shit happens. And I reckon I think as we all know, it is so hard to keep bands together, and then, but you'd think you'd kind of want to keep it together if you've been offered like tours and supports on that level, right?
Geordie, like you guys would understand as well. You ever feel like you're flogging out a dead horse at times? Like you're doing
Oh, fuck, man.
Well,
Like,
I flocked a few back then, you know what I mean? So it's, not that it was a dead horse, because obviously at the end of the day, we all wanted the same thing. We wanted to, be rock stars and, play music for a living and all that. But I don't think people understand how insanely hard that is.
Yeah.
I remember, and you can have this as a little, I can't remember if I told you this story before, but the A&R guy who signed us back at EMI told us a thing I've never forgotten. He said, about 2% of every band that I come across, we sign. And out of those 2, so imagine if you see 100 bands, 2 of them gets a deal, and you obviously see way more than 100 bands, right? Yeah. And out of those 2, about 50% of them break up after the first album.
wow.
Yeah.
For that same reason,
Just let that sink
and we immediately fit into that category.
You're a statistic.
I was just going to say that.
So that one stings a bit. And again, also the whole thing about people saying, I want to play music for a living. Even a lot of the bands that are playing music for a living still has a day job.
Yeah.
So don't underestimate the power of being able to set up yourself in the background before you start pursuing a career in music.
100%, man.
Yep.
True. Okay, so you went and did Perth United with Jacob?
No.
Yep.
Jacob Kenny.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that's when you would form this circle of peoples?
Yes, obviously, when we put that sort of tender out to try and get, I don't have to talk about it because I know you guys know what it is, right? But anyway, so Perth United, just to sum it up, it's obviously we wanted to raise money for telephone.
And also, can I just say, we literally mention Perth United on pretty much every single episode because most of the musos that have come in have said, I was in that. And so it's good to hear it from their perspective, but we haven't actually heard it from yours and where it sort of came from.
If you want to
keep going.
Asking a question. But obviously, so in that case, I'm not going to bore you with the details.
So for those at home that don't know, it was a telethon cause, group of musicians in a room for 12 hours, write, record, release a song within those 12 hours.
Yeah.
Pretty much. Yeah.
This is one of the
And that is such a simplified way of it, right? For us on the outside coming in.
Yep.
But I think for you, Steph and Jacob, I guess, for you guys, it was a lot of hard work, right?
Yeah, but you guys would understand it running this podcast too. Like all the stuff behind the scenes is what people don't see, and all the shit you have to deal with and plan ahead. But that's again what it takes to run a business or to run any entity in general, right? Again, we can talk about that in a whole. I could use a whole podcast talking about that.
Exactly.
That'll be the part 2 of the Helhammer episode.
Yeah.
I reckon, like the logistics and everything behind it. Like, how to make a podcast 101.
How to run a group of people, really.
Right.
How to manage anything.
To life.
Right? Yeah, pretty much.
I think we all need that.
Yeah. But obviously during Perth United, I met you. I met a ton of really nice and really talented local people.
Yeah.
And as awesome as it was running it, as it was really relieving being done with it too.
Yep.
And sort of move on from that. I think sort of in this sort of slipstream after that, I think Ashes went through a couple of replacements. I think the guitarist left and the bass player left, and ultimately the drummer left.
Yeah.
And that's when I can't remember if it was you or Jacob that reached out and asked if I wanted to originally just fill in for what was it, Perth Rocks? Maybe it was. I think it was filling in for a gig. I think it was Perth Rocks.
I think Jacob might have reached out to you. Jacob and I were obviously having a chat about it, but because he had been working closely with you on the Perth United thing, it just made sense that I was just like, oh hey, but I was like. Ring him.
Yeah, it was Perth
That's
Rocks,
kind of what I was like.
Yeah.
But that was it was some time before Perth Rocks, but
yeah,
it was ages before.
I don't think it was ages. I think it was a couple of months from memory.
I think because there was some
I could be
preservation
wrong.
involved as well. Like you were preparing because you knew the Perth Rocks gig was coming up.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty sure from memory, like because you guys killed it. It was bloody amazing.
It was fun.
Like it was.
It was a lot of fun.
Natural.
Yeah. I think that's the thing. For me personally, that chemistry was very real, and I'm really glad that you said that because I'm glad it sort of translated.
Yeah.
Because it's exactly how it felt for me from that standpoint. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, again, I think I've said this to Mel a couple of times. I can put it out in public now too. I said I remember when I saw Ashes the first time, I thought it was a rock star playing with a high school band.
Yeah.
Because to me, the band didn't sound anything exciting.
Yeah.
To be bluntly honest.
Which is totally fair to feel.
But again, Mel has that star appeal and star appearance.
Yes.
And an incredible voice.
Yep.
So it was almost like everything else needed to be lifted in order to carry her across. Talking about the weakest link, right? So this is almost in the opposite direction. Like the strongest link, we're sort of trying to break out from a band that just didn't live up to that. And I reckon everything that we did at Perth Rocks, as you said, felt really good. Like there's good chemistry on stage and all that. I think the main thing we realized quickly after that was to trying to actually get into this album writing just took way too long because there was too many different chemistries behind the scenes.
Mm-mm.
Yep.
And what we've ended up doing now, are we talking Ashes in general? Okay. So obviously what we then ended up doing is, because Jacob and Owen from Legacy ended up leaving the band. How long ago is that now?
I want to say...
End of
August?
last year?
It's a while ago now.
What was it?
No, it was before then.
Oh, it's definitely before August. August is just a couple of months ago.
No, last year.
Yeah, okay.
Oh,
That's yeah. Okay.
Was it?
Yeah.
It was, right?
I can't. I think it might have been.
No.
I think it was end of the year. But
no, it wasn't.
Because
no.
we've spoken since we started the podcast.
Yeah, okay. So you know what happened? I was just confusing my little timeline there. So I had gone overseas last year and stuff like that, and then things were moving forward with the band. And
that's when it all started.
It's kind of at the beginning of the end, but kind of like
But that's also where the album started.
Exactly,
we started recording drums and
But
all
I think Jacob and Owen moved on probably in the new year, like early this year. Do you reckon? Because when we first started the podcast, it was around that time.
Yeah.
Maybe February, March.
Again,
Anyway, it's not really the biggest deal, but since then it's kind of
things happen, and you know what? Legacy Alive is an amazing band. Jacob is an amazing person, and Owen. So you've still got Bryn in the band.
Yeah.
So
it's the three of us.
Still three of you, and you're still friends at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So next,
it's important to not burn any bridges.
That's it. Like relating to my band, I'm still friends with Tristan and Jimmy.
Yeah. I think, for us though, it was a bit different in the sense of like, because we had like half the band was in another band. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that other band was the first band they loved, and so it was always like, for me, I just, I, as much as I love and respect them playing in Legacy and stuff like that, when I approached Jacob to come into the band, it was like, are you sure? Because this is what I want.
Yep.
Are you able to commit to another band that is literally on the same sort of, level and as legacy and want to do more. And he's like, yes, absolutely. So, but of course shit changes for people, right?
Yes.
And that's what's happened.
Yeah.
And that was perfectly okay.
So I'm not a fan of being in multiple bands.
Yeah,
Like,
I don't like it. Me
like
personally.
this for me. Like
Yeah, same.
Anyone else, like they'll say they can do it. You do it. Like you've got your covers that you do.
But that's a different creative outlet, though, like output, isn't it? You know what I mean? Like
that's
can't.
a prostitution of it. You know, that's me selling myself for money. I would not play covers if you didn't pay me, man.
No, exactly. But like I've always had this theory that if I'm putting 50% into this band and 50% into this band, well, neither bands are getting the best quality from
That's
me.
Exactly right.
Yep. I'd rather put 100% into the one band because it's not a matter.
But that's a personal
not a matter
thing,
of
right?
focus or anything. No, that's right.
But Steph and I've had a very, very many
loyalty
conversations about
to the
this.
brand.
Very many, yeah.
But I mean, look, at the end of the day, when I did approach Jacob and Owen, we had that very transparent conversation about it, and at that time, it was suitable for him and okay for him and Owen, Yep. But obviously, he had to go through, or they had to go through that experience with us. And then Steph and I being a bit more like, okay, want this, and that just wasn't going to fit with their sort of life and structure. And so then they made the decision to leave, and that was perfectly fine.
Yep.
There was no bad blood about that at all. It was all very respectful and, I won't say mutual because I didn't want him to leave initially and all that stuff, but it was just like, no, that's cool, dude. Like, and then, you know what? Like, it was kind of like the best thing, I think, in a sense for us with Steph and I, in the sense that it kind of went, all right, now we've got full reign. What are we going to do?
Yeah.
And just kind of smashed it.
Yeah.
Right. I had a very similar situation. I started like a side project with one of my best mates, Connor. And I was exactly the same mindset. It was that when we joined the band, so I'm in Belgravia, but we made a new band called Occult Bouquet. And at the time, I was like, I can do both. I can really get this both. And he was the same thing. He's in another band called Carrington. And so we made this thing together. And we're going at it, pushing really hard, but we both at the same time always felt like it was either one foot in the door of like your motivation of being this band. And for me specifically, I couldn't. Yeah. I couldn't do both. And I found as I was going on, I was like, this is just killing me. Because I'm like getting pushed and pulled.
It's one thing if you are learning songs for an established band and it's like, okay, I can do that because you might as well be playing covers, right?
Yeah.
But until you get to the writing process, and if you're in another band, that is going to be very ugly, very dirty, very quickly because you're going to suffer burnout. You're going to suffer from the other band saying, well, why are you spending time with them? You should be here with us, blah,
like
blah,
you're
blah.
cheating on me,
yeah,
bro.
Yeah, well, it is a loyalty thing as well. Like,
I mean, the lines were very clear, though, weren't they? Like, there was a very clear understanding that Jacob and Owen were in Legacy. That was Jacob's baby and will always be.
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
But this has now become something bigger for us, Obviously, it was my thing, but then Steph's come on board. And, like, Steph, he's a powerhouse guy. Like, he gets this idea and
well, that's why they call him the Helhammer.
Well, that's it. But, like, I literally have never met anybody as motivated and also as proactive and fucking committed as this guy. Yeah. Like, literally, like, it's just without him, I wouldn't be in this place and having this album where it's at now. So all the events that have led up to this, man, I'm grateful for them. I'm really happy that it's worked out that way because I don't know if we would be here right now.
I was going to say, it's contrary to what you're saying, I 100% agree with what you're saying, and it's very true. But at the same time, in my situation, my BG boys, they was 100% behind me. They were like, bro, go do your thing. And then when I actually told them, because down the line, Connor and I both agreed, we're like, this is just it's not where we wanted to be. We can't commit to it 100%. Let's just call it a day. I actually told my boys, and they were like, dude, really? Like, they were actually like taken back. Like, you guys were making some sick songs. So it's definitely a seesaw of different personalities, I guess.
Like, being brutally honest, I think I'd be pretty pissed off if I knew that one of my boys couldn't come to a gig or a rehearsal because they were at a gig or a rehearsal with their other band.
But that's exactly where a lot of people go wrong because you don't have your priorities straight.
Yes.
I have zero against people being multiple bands, but 100%. I need to know that the band that I'm putting my time and effort into is the number one for everybody. So if you want to be in 5 bands, that's cool. But if you're in band with me, that's number one.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I can't work with you.
Yeah.
And I think that's where most people go wrong.
Yeah.
Because I mean, there's obviously I know you've had several people on the podcast who's in multiple bands.
Yeah.
And so there's nothing wrong with that. But I think another very important factor is that no one has a number their main priority band, and also a band that's actually made it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I know obviously you had Eskimo Joe or the cat from Eskimo Joe. They've obviously an exception to that rule, right? Yeah. But most of the grassroots bands that we're talking about in the Perth scene are a Perth band.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right.
They aren't an international band or an Australian band. They're a Perth band. And again, there's nothing wrong with that. Yeah. But if you're in 3 or 4 Perth bands, then you're stretching yourself too thin.
Yeah.
And in a very small area, right?
Yeah. So again, become Carnival and get Carnival right, and then do your Birds of Tokyo or vice versa. That's how you can be in multiple bands and still be successful, because you have made it with the first one, right?
Yeah. Once you've got a brand to represent, then you can show off as much as you want.
Exactly.
You can be a peacock.
But that's it. And
let me fly on this one, Captain.
But that's like when it was just Stef and myself and Bryn. I remember calling Stef and just being like, well, what do we do now? Yeah.
I was like, game on.
He's like,
do you want a beer?
I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do a little later.
No, but then he just like, we had really, I mean, Stef and I, we speak every other day, right? Like literally most days. And I did feel a little deflated, and he was like, that's cool. You can feel that. You sit with your feelings for a minute, but don't sit in it too long because you've got shit to do, And it was like, Yes, that's true. I got shit to do.
But it was also like when something like that happens, like there's no point in sitting and whining, because that was the best part for everybody.
Yeah.
It's the best part for Jacob and Owen, because it wasn't working internally. Like the working process wasn't there. You've parted with some of your band members. I'm sure it have been for the same reasons, right?
100%, man.
So again, like I said, the chemistry and being able to move at the same pace is so difficult. So difficult, because we all have different commitments and hours to put into it and money to put into it.
Yes.
And I know the money for a lot of people is really the barrier.
Well, that can be the make or break.
Of course it can.
If you've got 3 out of the 4 people that are easily contributing to rehearsals or your rent for the room or recording, blah, 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 but then your 4th person is like, I can't afford it this week.
Yeah.
I can't afford it next week either. It's like, well, we can't afford you.
Yeah.
So sort yourself out.
But again, like personally, I don't have an issue with money being the problem. I've got a huge issue with time and effort being the problem.
Yeah.
Well, time is priceless.
And that's, again, the whole reason why when we then decided to do this using a session musician is because now you're just paying for that person's time. So that's how you accelerate things.
How's the experience been like with the album using a session musician?
It's been a breeze.
Yeah.
Because again, you don't have any fucking ego.
Yeah.
And you have a schedule. So if I say we need these songs done, all right, here's a song. Okay, cool. Well, it's out next week.
Yeah.
It's not like, I got to find time. I only have so much time in the week or a month or whatever it is. I said, well, we can't work with that.
What's his name? What's her name? What's his name? The session muser.
Oh, Tommy. Yeah.
Tommy.
Yeah, so Tommy Denanda.
Tommy Denanda.
Yeah. So
shout out to Tommy.
He's over in Sweden.
Yeah, so let's send him this video.
But, we send him demos, right?
Yeah.
And it's just the fucking crazy thing. Like, we'd send him a demo. Stef would, send him something. And then it'd be like, bang, the next day.
Yeah.
And like, it became very
cyclic,
and in some instances, I'm not saying with every song, but, and by that as well, I don't want to like sort of suggest that the music was not even there. But what I'm saying, it was all fucking there.
Yeah.
But that rate of turnaround and how quickly that happened, it was insane. And just like, Stef would message me like 10 o'clock at night, and I'd just be in my PJs getting ready for bed and stuff. And then I'd be like, oh my God. And I'd go out to my car, turn the car on full ball, sorry neighbors. But I was like, this is sick.
Get a stereo.
There's a new song.
No. I have so many different things to listen on music with.
I'm the same.
My car is my favorite space.
Okay.
And it's the best sound. And so, and I wanted to hear it in its best capacity, right?
We
But
got
so
to
many
get her
times he
some
did
like
that.
Dre Beats or something. You know, we'll
Oh,
get her some
please.
good headphones. You know?
No, I've got it all, bro. I just like
she
my
likes
car.
that. That works for
It's
her.
got a great sound.
What
I was
car
like,
is it?
Oh, we're getting off
Don't
topic.
matter about
but
that, my
like,
boy.
I was so excited, and like he would send me something, late at night, and I'd be out there, and there's not one that came through that we were like,
Oh, there was one, but then.
Oh, hang on, there was one, but that was
there
different.
was 1 out of 11. But
yeah.
Yeah.
1 out of 11 ain't bad.
Nah, 1 out of 11 ain't bad. You know what I'm saying? But again, it's the whole thing again. Like it's the same as if you get someone to come in and fix your house. I've used this analogy a couple of times, right?
Yeah.
Like you can choose to paint your own house.
Yep.
And you can, put up all the tape and mask get everything ready, and you can paint it.
Which is
But
going to
you-
cost you time.
It's first of all, it's gonna cost you time, and the job is probably not gonna be as good as if you hired a pro, right?
Yeah.
And they're gonna come in and smash it out in a third of the time, probably, right?
Yep.
Because they know what they're doing. This is what they're doing.
Yeah.
And there's gonna be the wife isn't gonna be like, Johnny, look at that shit job up there, man. So bang, it's done, right? So here it was almost the same kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
You pay for someone to come in, someone that's a pro
Yep.
that applies themselves to the song, probably better than anyone has ever done.
Yep.
When you're listening to the final result, right?
Yeah,
And this is someone who is again a painter, a paid professional, right? To come in and help you paint this canvas. That's an Ashes song, right?
Yeah.
Well, that's
but
what
it's-
session
but it's-
musos are for. you
Exactly,
know, like,
exactly.
It's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So so now we're in the space of now it's in the oven.
Now it's
And-
all done. It's being mixed.
Like,
at the
sorry
moment.
to
That's,
assume, but like obviously being an album, like are you still going to plan a launch? And if you are, like, are you going to go down the session muso route to perform it, or is Ashes of Autumn recruiting?
Do you know a good lead guitarist? It has to be fucking awesome.
They
man.
have to. They have to be like.
But,
you could use this episode right now to
Ta-da.
start looking for someone.
Do you know that?
Yeah.
We want
Yeah.
you.
Like
we want you.
we've spoken about this, and we've toyed up with some different ideas and stuff. So, but we want to have the album done so it sounds like wicked,
It's ready to go, and now you just need that painter to
And
come
like
and-
if the right person came along and said, I want to play with you guys, and I have the same motivation, the same, sort of forward thinking as you guys, then we might, consider that. But if somebody comes along and says, look, I can only I want to play those songs with you guys, as long as you guys are not playing every week or whatever, then we
Got
could
no
look at it.
intention of playing it.
No,
really.
fuck that.
I got my covers to play,
You whore.
Kiss on, Wonderwall.
But for the.
But
I
do you
get
know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
if the right person came and said that to us, we'd be like, sweet, but it's an open conversation to have.
Yep.
We're not really like, oh, okay, you have to do this, and it's we're flexible, and how we think and how we approach things. Obviously, that's how we managed to record the album with like a session guy over the other side of the world. So we're very flexible, but we haven't yet met the right guy, girl,
Yeah.
person to
But
sort
it's
of fit that.
it is effectively the position of the lead guitarist that needs to be filled.
Yeah.
And it's almost, you could almost treat it the same way as if you were a tribute band, right? It's something, say, I can send you the stems, and this is exactly your part. You need to learn, get the tones, the feel, application, blah blah blah. You get all that right. Let's go.
Yeah.
But that's really where it's at.
So you guys are looking to be just a 3-piece?
Well,
A 4-piece, sorry?
no, I mean, again, this is the thing. Like, it's the foundation of the band is myself, Stef, and Bryn, right? So if other people want to come in and be part of that, that's okay. But in my experience, it doesn't fucking last. So I'm happy to have like just some session players or people that are like really passionate about the music and come in and do whatever. But that creative control and ebb and flow is probably going to remain with us, I would imagine. Like,
I
know?
think again, sort of being most of the song being Mel's song, and actually some of them sort of being created during the recording process. So some of them we started playing live for the first time ever a couple of weeks ago. So that's probably some of the shit you've heard through the walls, right?
And you're really like, what the fuck? I'm like, I'm still trying to fucking
sucks.
learn how to sing my song.
Fucking hell, let's move room, man. This, no thanks.
On that note, a band friend of ours, besties, they're besties, a band called Year Long Drama. It's just 2 girls, and then they have 3.
Same as here.
2 girls, and then 3 session musicians that just play with them. So they write all the music.
Yeah.
The 3 dudes just come in and perform.
But that's effectively where this is it. Like so, like obviously Mel writing the songs and stuff, and me sort of probably more taking the producer role and tidying them up and putting them together and writing a brief to send over and sort of cleaning them up when he comes back. And
Mr. Chop.
Yeah, I've chopped up a lot of stuff again. Yeah. So that, but that's the part that I enjoy is that like the creation of the songs, right? Who plays them is obviously, in my opinion, less important as long as it is someone who can actually play it. Which is the interesting part of going through now, because some of the songs haven't been played before.
Yeah, exactly. I'm really excited about that, like even going through that recording process, which was like so cool, and I was just so lucky to have that sort of way that we did it. But I haven't sung like, it feels like forever, like sort of really blatted out. And then we got into the studio like a few weeks ago, and I'm like, oh God, like it's like, oh yeah.
I've been hearing you sing.
Oh yeah, but
it's horrible.
Yeah, I know it's horrible. But I just feel like when you've been in the studio for so long, and you have a different mindset and a different sort of application to the singing process, and then you go in and you start like belting out your set, and it's like, yeah. I felt that.
This song's going at
again.
the end.
I feel this.
Yeah.
But like as I'm saying, you guys have got the face.
Yeah.
It's just the music to bring it to life in the live scene.
And live scene.
I have confidence that you guys are going to go. It's going to be wicked. And we're very, very, very super duper 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 keen.
Yeah.
When that time comes.
And I think you guys are right as well, as far as going down the session muso track. So then, you don't have the fuck arounds to worry about.
I think also a big part of it was also that sort of decision making, which I think we neglected to talk about that after. But after Jacob and Owen left, one of Mel's biggest concerns was like, so what do we do now? It's like, do we get someone else? I said, fuck no.
Yeah, pretty much. That was it.
Because I think a lot of bands, that would be the immediate thing that you default to. You'd be like, oh, we need a new at least a new lead guitarist, because they're like usually the ones write the riffs and learn how to play. That's it. First of all, then you need to find one that you can get along with. That itself can take a while. Then you need to find someone who's capable, so who can actually play to the level that you expect. Yeah. And then someone who can record, and then someone who's got time and money and that's a year, man.
Yeah.
Or 6 months. I said, we haven't got time for that shit. The drums are already done.
Yeah.
So get the painter in.
Literally.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah.
Literally. And like I said before, like we wouldn't be sitting here. Well, I wouldn't be sitting here if it wasn't for Stef and Stef's support and his forward thinking and looking, instead of just sitting in the moment of being, oh my God, he's just like, okay, it's not helpful. So let's just move forward.
Yep.
Like changing the way that you think about things. And so for that I'm very grateful to him for, because God knows I'd still be sitting in my room writing shit and not having anything to show for it. Yeah.
But it's that whole thing about like for you to be able to make decisions and make them quick can in some instances be the be all or end all.
Yeah. Absolutely. Sometimes you just got to be cutthroat.
And if you like put it this way, if we had gone through, and I know we would never have done that, but to say someone else had stuck, if Jacob and Owen, for argument's sake, had been the band, it doesn't need to be that. It could be any constellation of people having to work together. Mm-hmm. If you're going to sit there and use most of the time sort of not agreeing on what you want to do, it's going to collapse eventually.
Yeah.
So the sooner it collapses, the better for everybody.
Yeah, literally. And I don't think, and again, like I don't think, and you can correct me on this, I might. You may. I don't think that we've had one sort of thought or process or anything that we haven't agreed on, right? Through this whole thing. No. Like we just, it's like I call him my other brain, literally, because he just feels like, I just feel like he kind of gets my perspective of things, and then he kind of just puts Stefan onto it, and then it's just it's
but that's also what I was talking about before. That's a unique and very, very rare part about being in a band. So if the creative process and the management of a band lays with a less amount of people, you can move faster.
Yep.
Because I think a lot of bands also think, we all have a say. And I'm 4 people in the band. I have 25% of shares in this band. I said, Well, if you look at any sort of other bigger, like especially if you look at a sort of bigger business, there's usually one guy calling the shots. And until you get a manager, that should be someone inside the band. If you can't afford bringing on a good manager to help you promote, who's going to call the shots?
Yeah.
Who's got the controlling stake in that, right? And that's again why, because we are so on the same wavelength.
I feel you.
Yeah, that's again, it's such a pivotal thing to understand as a band, because otherwise you will be sort of floating around in that
Flailing.
who's in charge kind of thing.
I feel you. And
have some good conversations internally.
Big conversations.
Yeah.
Well, that's incredibly in depth.
Yeah.
And interesting, and I'm sure we could talk all day and night.
Could.
I reckon we're going to need to give Stef a part 2 episode because
absolutely.
this isn't finished.
After the album's out, maybe we're
But we
Until
are running.
then,
We're out of time.
Watch this space.
So
we got
Stef,
this.
But we have to do the segment,
Steph, we've got this segment called What's on Repeat. And if we were to go on to your Spotify or iTunes, whatever, what is it that you've got on repeat? A song that you just can't get enough of?
Music,
Fuck,
band.
at the moment it's like Ram Sam Sam or some other kids songs, because the kids have gone fucking skits over the last couple of days. But anything that I would listen to, well, it won't be Oasis, I can tell you that. But
Nice.
actually, should we have a quick look?
Yeah, go
You know,
on.
it's probably the best way. Yeah. So the last thing.
What is the last thing you were listening to on
Probably
Spotify?
one of our songs. But,
The last thing I was listening to be honest, a little shout out here to Kev. I've listened to a lot of Hail Mary recently.
Yeah. Was that Kev that I met last week?
the very tall guy. Long
Yeah.
hair.
At Foxhole
No,
when you
Kev.
were there, Steph.
Fox, yeah.
Lovely guy.
I'm
He's
doing
one of the best.
The
First
band
time I'd met him.
Hail-
One of my best mates.
Yeah, he's wicked.
Yeah.
Hailing Mary?
Hail
Well,
Mary.
Hail Mary.
Should we get him on?
Jeez.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, when I first
met
met Kev, I mean, we've been Facebook friends. Our Facebook anniversary came out. It was like 15 years. It's like, bro, I thought it was like 5.
Yeah, no, it was actually it was because of your post that you shared. It was for his birthday.
Oh, yeah.
And so when I went to Foxhole, I
that's
saw him. I was like, oh, by the way, happy birthday.
So that's really cool.
Great.
Hail
Yeah.
Mary.
Yeah. So
Awesome. Check it out, guys.
that's it.
So that's
Thank
on.
you.
That's what you got.
And I prevail. That's the last one.
nice.
That's because I had to throw something into the kids' songs. And my oldest song, he's found a couple of
Is
I
it the
prevail songs.
Taylor
I
Swift
like.
cover?
No.
Okay. Well, thank you so much.
Choke. Just don't listen to that
Choke
one.
goes
Dude,
hard.
it's been a pleasure having you. Thank
too,
you so
man.
much for coming down.
Thanks,
and,
crew.
you know what? You'll probably get lost on the next time you come down because we'll be moving venues pretty shortly. But yeah,
Exciting.
big shout out to Dazzle Home Loans.
Thanks, Daz.
And also to Alchemos Print. And big shout out to Scudley Films. Thank you, Mr. Wizard. Mel, Geordie,
As
been
usual,
a pleasure.
it's all been great.
Steph, rock on, brother.
Always
Keep going.
a pleasure. You too, man.
See you guys.
Peace.